Good afternoon. Good morning, Year 4. We're going to do our maths lesson today, so I'm going to share my screen with you. So let's start with our flashback for today. So number 1, what's the missing number? 9 times something equals 9. Multiply 10 by 38. How many meters are there in 8 kilometers? And Annie walks for 2 hours every day for 1 week. Ron walks for 3 hours every day for 5 days. Who walks for longer? And finally, 5 times 2. Okay, let's go through our answers then. 9 times missing number, would it be 1? Multiply 10 by 38 would be 380. How many meters are there in 8 kilometers? There'll be 8,000 meters in 8 kilometers. And who walks for longer? Ron walks for 1 hour longer per week. And 5 times 2, we know that nice and easy, is 10. Okay, let's write down today's learning objective. So we're dividing by 10 today, and today's date is the 13th of the 1st, 21. So could you write that now, please, in your books and underline it with a ruler? Well done. Now, if you could write review and have a go at these questions, they're true or false. So for each one, you have to say true or false. When a number is divided by 10, its digits shift 1 place to the left. 860 divided by 10 is equal to 8,600. Dividing a number by 10 is the same as seeing how many 10s fit into that number. 360 divided by 10 equals 36. Pause the video, have a go at that now. Okay, let's go through our answers then. So number 1, when a number is divided by 10, its digits don't shift to the left, they shift to the right, so that's false. 860 divided by 10 is equal to 8,600. Again, that's false. That's what would happen if you multiplied it by 10. Dividing a number by 10 is the same as seeing how many groups of 10 fit into that number. That's true. And finally, 360 divided by 10 is 36. Okay, now let's just recap a little bit about dividing by 10 so that we're really clear and we remember. Now, remember yesterday we were looking at dividing it 10 by 10 and we said that that's the same as finding out how many equal groups of 10 there are in a number. And one simple way of doing that is by using a place value chart. So when you divide by 10, the digits move 1 place to the right. Okay, they move 1 place to the right, going that way. Okay, so here we have a number. It is 700. If I was to divide it by 10, this is what would happen to it. All the digits would move 1 place to the right and it would become 70. Now you'll notice there's this 0 here in this column. We haven't mentioned this column before, have we? We will be when we look at decimals in a few weeks' time. Now this number here is the tenths. It's a part number, but you can see here there are no parts of this number. It is a whole number. So you don't need to record that 0. You would just write 70 in the normal way by writing 70. Okay, let's have a go at some explore questions today, which are going to be more problem solving and reasoning. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. You're going to see how I do them. You're going to have a go and then you're going to work independently through some steps yourself after this checkpoint. Okay, so let's start with this question, 6b. It says match each calculation to the correct answer. So first of all, you need to look at this representation of a number. You need to see what number that is representing. You divide it by 10 and then you work out the answer. Pause the video now and have a go at this and then we'll go through our answers together. Okay, well done. So let's look at A. Let's work out the number that's represented here. So let's count the hundreds. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hundreds and 5 tens. It is 550. 550 divided by 10 equals obviously 55. Here we have another number, this time represented by Deans. We have 102 tens. We have 120. 120 divided by 10 would be 12. And here we have a number. It is 200 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. 7 tens equals 70. So we have 270 divided by 10, which would be 27. So hopefully you got those correct today. Let's move on to our next question. Okay, now this is a little bit more tricky. It's a word problem. So when we do word problems, we always remember that we have to highlight the key words in the sentence or the key numbers in the sentence. So we're going to do that now. So I'm going to take my highlighter pen. So it says Dr. White and Dr. Chang are working in the surgery. They take 10 minutes to see each patient. So every patient gets 10 minutes of their time. Altogether, they work for 480 minutes. Here is that number represented. How many patients could they have seen each? Find 3 possibilities. So our key part here is that they work for 480 minutes and they see them for 10 minutes each. Pause the video and think what calculation you would need to write down to work this out. Well done. So hopefully this is the calculation that you wrote down. 480 divided by 10 equals 48. So they saw 48 patients, but there's 2 of them, isn't there? There's 2 doctors. So they might have seen, for example, 24 each, but we need to find 3 possibilities. That's one possibility. 24 add 24 equals 48. Pause the video. Can you think of 2 more possibilities? Well done. Here's 2 others I've come up with, but there is an endless list. They could have seen 25, add 23. Or they could have seen 26, add 22. Do you see how I've done that? Do you see how these numbers are equal, aren't they? But then when I add 1 more on here, I take away 1 here. And when I add 2 on here, I take away 2 here. But there are lots of possibilities here. And when you're doing your own version of this question later on, you will have to think of different possibilities. Okay, let's have a look at this explore question. We have 3 people here and they're trying to work out their answer. Becky says this: when I divide my number by 10, I get the answer 26. So basically she's saying she has 26 and she got that number by dividing a number here by 10, but we don't know that number. It's a mystery number. Now remember, what is the inverse, the opposite of division? That's right, it's multiplication, isn't it? So doing the inverse of dividing by 10 is multiplying by 10. So to work out what this answer here is, this is what I would do. I would take that 26 and I would times it by 10, doing the opposite, and I got 260. 260 divided by 10 equals 26. Do you see how I got that answer? Do you see how I've used my answer here to make the start of my question here? And I've used the opposite of dividing by 10 here to work out my end number. It is the back to front calculation, isn't it? The inverse. So 260, let's have a look. Can we see 260 here? Well, let's count. I can see 200s. Let's see if I've got enough 60s there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 260. So this is her number. Pause the video now and have a go at the other 2. Okay, let's go through those answers. So Imran said, my number divided by 10 equals 25. So this is the same as saying mystery number divided by 10 equals 25. So let's have a look. We're going to take this number and we're going to do the opposite, the inverse, to work it out. So 25 multiplied by 10 equals 250. Let's see. Can we see 250 there? Well, it's obviously not that one, so it must be this one. And that is his number, 250. And this final person here, whose name I can't see, has 75 groups of 10. She says this: 75 groups of 10 can be made using my number. So she is essentially already telling us the inverse. 75 groups of 10. That's the same as saying 75 multiplied by 10 equals 750. And so, of course, this is her number. Okay, I'd like us to pause the video now and have a go at this checkpoint question. I'm going to read it to you. Ella and Theo, oh, just noticed I've not given him a capital letter there. Let's correct that because it's so important to remember to put our proper nouns with a capital letter. Ella and Theo are reading books. They take 10 minutes to read a chapter. Altogether, they read for 270 minutes. How many chapters could they have read? Think of one answer. So one way of making this. Off you go. Well done. Okay, so they had read, let's just highlight the key things here. They had read for 10 minutes and they read in total for 270 minutes. So they took 10 minutes to read one chapter. So how many chapters did they read altogether? Well, let's have a look. They had 270 minutes divided by 10 equals, oh, I've made a mistake. That should say 27. Okay. All the different ways we could do it. Well, that's not going to work, is it? Because I'd written 24 there, I'd made a mistake. So let's change that. So what would I had to add to 12 to make 27? So that's one way you could do it. There's probably other ways you could do it. Perhaps when you show me your work later on, you'll have got a different answer. Okay. Now, if you got the checkpoint correct today and you found the work that we've done today pretty easy and you're able to jump on and start on step 2. However, if you found it a little bit trickier, start on step 1 and work your way through these questions. You should quickly, hopefully, get to step 3 and have a go at this. We haven't looked at this question B here, so have a go at that. And then digging deeper is there. Now today you might find you got through this work quite quickly, so you could spend a bit of time on this game. It says find your way through the maze by following a path where the answer is less than 50 each time. Okay, explore the different paths you can take through the maze, so you could have a go at that if you finish the work quite quickly. Okay, let's go through. I'm going to pause at each one so you can see it. Pause the video on the one that you want to work on. Okay, brilliant. Now, please remember to mark your work before you hand it in. And as normal, you'll probably have worked through the normal steps that you do in school. So, for example, if you normally start on step 2, you probably started on step 2, went to step 3, and then on to digging deeper. If you normally start on step 1, then don't worry if you started there today. Obviously, work at your pace, but try and do as much as you can in the time that you've got. Let's mark our answers now then. Here's our answers for step 1. Here's our answers for step 2. And here's our answers for step 3. And here's the answers for digging deeper. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Okay, well done Year 4. I hope you've worked really hard and I look forward to seeing your work later on.